Greetings from Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan.
Hello from Central Asia. It's our first time here and we're going to be spending a few days here in the capital. So we're going to take you on a little tour and show you 15 things to do around Bishkek.
Should be fun.
First up, we visited Alatu Square, which is the central plaza in Bishkek. While there isn't much to do here, it's one of the city's major landmarks. Plus they also have lots of benches and water fountains where you can take a quick break. From there, we crossed the street and made our way over to the State Historical Museum. So unfortunately, the State Museum, which you see right here behind me, is closed to renovation, so we won't be able to go in. But I hear there's a statue of Lenin hiding out back, so we're gonna see if we can find that. Let's go! On an unrelated note, if you've never watched the movie Goodbye Lenin, you should. It's in German, but it's pretty good. I just remember that because we're visiting the Lenin statue.
Another place you'll want to visit in Bishkek is the Osh Bazaar. It may not be the biggest in Central Asia, but it's a bustling maze where you could easily spend a few hours. We had no problems at the market, but we were warned by several locals to ignore the fake police, who may ask to see documents and camera permits. So keep that in mind if you encounter them.
It is shopping time. Next up we're at the Osh Bazaar and you can find everything here. We've seen fresh produce, snacks, chocolates, clothes. Right behind me we have an entire aisle dedicated to dry cheese balls. It's this really popular snack. Kind of tastes like salty goat cheese. Not my favorite, but if you want to try it, come here.
$2.50.
150.
Can I get a 180?
Half a kilo of dates.
A kilo of fresh dates. And I paid just 100 som, which roughly is about $1.50. And like, look how many dates I got, guys.
All for yourself, because I'm not a fan of dates either. Ah! We're not dumb tourists. We're not dumb tourists. Maybe Sam is. Those are Sam's horrible acting skills right there. My goodness. We are going to visit an abandoned casino and nightclub. But you know what? There's a lot of people hanging out here and I feel like we're gonna get kicked out because these people look like construction workers or security guards. Anyways, let's try. First impressions. It smells bad. I think people hang out here.
Yeah,
overnight.
They hang out here and do things, but there's also a lot of broken things all around, so I think it's gonna be cool. Let's go take a look. I think there's graffiti as well.
Yeah, nice graffiti over there. Okay, so we just came across children playing in here. So if kids can get in, I think we can too. If you do come here, I would suggest closed shoes. It's all broken glass. Hello. Directly across from the abandoned casino, you'll find Victory Monument, which was built to commemorate the 40th anniversary of World War II. The three curved arcs represent a yurt, and the sculpture of a woman standing near the eternal flame is meant to symbolize her waiting for her husband and sons to return from the war. Okay, so this morning we are checking out Dickson Park, and I think this is Sam's favorite park that we found so far.
I've been going jogging here every day, sometimes twice a day. So, and I've kind of come at all times of day, and on weekdays and also on weekends. And this park is completely different throughout the week.
Yeah, you can catch people enjoying coffee or having ice creams in the afternoon. And it's basically like these two little parallel boulevards lined with trees. It's really pretty, so we're gonna show you.
Oh my gosh, they have peanut butter.
Cream with caramel.
Audrey, they have peanut butter. Peanut butter.
This is Sam in his happy place. Ice cream and swing.
I'm here on a bit of a solo mission. Out of all the things I've really wanted to do in Bishkek, this is right at the top of my list. I'm going to check out a public bath. Whew! That was refreshing. So I just spent probably 1 or 2 hours in the public bath and it was pretty awesome. It reminds me a lot of the Korean public baths in the sense that it's gender segregated. You basically go in, you take off your clothes, you put on some flip-flops, you get naked, and you go check out these, basically there's steam rooms, there's sauna. But what was really awesome at this place is that it had, you know, these little hut-like buildings over here? That is actually where you do basically your polar plunge swimming, and that's freezing cold water. And when I was going to go in for the first time, I was kind of like tiptoeing in with the ladder, and this guy came by and shoved me in. So I got the full-on experience of feeling really cold after being hot for a while. So yeah, it was a pretty cool experience. It cost 300 som, so not too expensive. And if you're in Bishkek and you're up for this type of thing, definitely check it out.
So we are going roller skating in Bishkek. And I don't know how to roller skate, so this is gonna
Neither do I.
Can't start, can't stop. I can't roller skate, but Sam seems to have picked it up. There he be.
Like bandy on skates, like this is so different from ice skating or inline skating.
So the question is, what do you prefer? Roller skating, inline skating, or ice skating after trying them all?
Of course, inline skating and ice skating are way more familiar for me. But I have to say, I'm starting to get the hang of it a little bit near towards the end. But I decided to wrap it up a bit early. Those teenagers are just way too agile for me.
Yeah, don't want to break any bones today, huh?
We missed the start of opera and ballet season by just a few days. However, if you're in the city at the right time, that's something you could consider doing.
Chillin' like a villain, he be chillin' like a villain. Where are we and what are we doing and why are you making that face?
I have no idea. We are at the Q Cafe.
Yes.
It's over there.
Q Cafe. Can't really see it, but it's there.
This is a place where we met up for coffee with friends like 2 or 3 days ago.
Yep.
And it's really good. So we're back again and we've got some beautiful looking lattes.
Lattes with art.
And we're just waiting for cake and muffins.
Cake and muffins! Woohoo!
The dessert is here.
Yes, so I'm gonna start with this, with Sam's cake. It looks crumbly.
Can you call it Dvorak cake?
Yeah, I didn't get the name. It's like a fluffy cheesecake almost. And it's crumbly with icing sugar on top. That's nice. I am a fan of your cake, Sam.
Do you remember whose cake that is? You've just had a second bite. Alright, since you're on like a bit of a piggy roll, why don't you try your muffin? Your muffin!
Here we go.
Is that pumpkin?
Ooh!
Oh wow, oh wow.
That's strawberry. Real chunks of strawberry. That's good. With coffee. Perfect midday snack.
And if you're craving a short escape from Bishkek, you can always plan a day hike to the nearby mountains with the trekking union.
So, 2 funny things. We had to sign a waiver in order to join this trek, and there were 2 particular points that kind of jumped out at us. First, we had to agree that we wouldn't run away during the hike, but it's like...
And you know how much we like to do that, so that was almost a sticking point.
Where are we going to run? And number 2, we had to promise we wouldn't drink alcohol. But again, alcohol on a 25-kilometer hike I feel like that's just asking for trouble, and we barely have enough water, so.
In other words, we have to dump out the moonshine that's in my backpack, right?
I got my shoe wet. Now I'm gonna be hiking 25 kilometers with soggy shoes. This is not a good start.
As far as food goes, there's plenty to sample, ranging from grilled meats to dumplings and noodles to mixed rice. Plus, there was one drink that really left an impression on us.
So we've decided to be a little bit adventurous with what we're drinking, and we are having Kyrgyz.
We're having Kyrgyz.
Want to tell us what that is?
This is basically considered the national drink here in this country. In fact, the city of Bishkek was named after the paddle used to churn this, and it is basically, it's mare's milk. It's fermented mare's milk.
That's all you're having, that little sip?
It has a slight amount of alcohol. Yeah, we're taking it easy here. So, let's try it. It has a very strong smell. Okay, so imagine like the saltiest milk you've ever had that's also been slightly watered down and tastes a little bit alcoholic, you can taste a bit of the alcohol. So that's exactly what it tastes like.
And we've got a liter of that just to ourselves. All right, so Sam, tell us a little bit about the food here in Bishkek.
So we're standing outside a restaurant called Red Cow, and this is one of the most popular places to have steak. And what we found here in Bishkek is that there is some amazing international cuisine. We've had really good Japanese, we've had really good Korean, we've also had really good traditional food here as well. So this is a city for foodies. Tonight for dinner, we're gonna go to one of our favorite international food places. It's called Chicken Star. It's a Korean restaurant that specializes in Korean style chicken. And I've got my Hanwha Eagles hat on.
All right, go Team Korea, woo!
Beer has arrived. This one is called Jivo.
But the thing is, can you say cheers in Russian? That's the true test. Can you?
What it is.
I don't know.
So no. Gumbe.
So we are at Save the Ales.
Save the Ales, and I am saving an ale right here.
A pale ale.
Yeah, an IPA. There's a really cool craft beer scene emerging here in Bishkek, and I can't wait to try this one.
With our time in Bishkek winding down, we made a visit to Oak Park, which is full of sculptures, and then we also visited nearby Pamfilov Park.
So next up, we're at Pamfilov Park, and this place is full of rides. We've just had a big lunch, so we're debating whether or not we should get on some of these little roller coasters and other things. Ooh.
And that's a wrap for a trip to Bishkek. As you can probably tell from this video, the city is the kind of place that you experience as opposed to ticking off attractions, so it ended up being a fairly relaxing trip after a few busy weeks of travel around Kyrgyzstan. As always, if you have any suggestions of things to do in Bishkek, feel free to share your tips with fellow travelers in the comment section below. See you next time!